Hello guys, my name is Karen Augustine and I will be doing my TED Talk to you guys. Today we will discuss what is speech anxiety. Raise your hand how many of you guys have experienced speech anxiety in the past. Look around, you're not alone. In fact, public speaking is many of people's greatest fear and it is perfectly normal. Today I want to discuss what is speech anxiety, ways to manage speech anxiety, and how to deliver a strong speech. Before we discuss ways to manage speech anxiety and how to deliver a strong speech, it is important to know what is speech anxiety. So what exactly is speech anxiety? Public speaking anxiety, often referred to as speech anxiety or stage fright, involves central fear of being scrutinized or evaluated by others. Public speaking is also called glossophobia. Now, what are the symptoms? Everybody's different, so the symptoms are going to vary person to person. Now, the symptoms are dry mouth, forgetting information, red face, sweaty palms, rapid heartbeat. Depending on the person, this might all be different, and in some cases, fainting can occur. I got all this information from healthguide.com. Now, one thing I want to say is most of your anxiety is not obvious to your audience, unless you're making it very obvious. So unless you're here shaking and you're stuttering or you're forgetting what to say, no one will know that you're experiencing speech anxiety. Now, so I decided to ask a couple of my friends about experiencing with their anxiety, and one thing they did mention is that the common symptom always started at the beginning of their speech. So all the symptoms were so overwhelming at the beginning, and as they continued throughout their speech, they went away. This might vary from person to person, so it might not happen to you, but in most cases, it does. So according to Christopher Instagram, in his article in America's Top Fears about public speaking, which was published in the Washington Post, speech anxiety is the #1 fear of America by 25.3%. It was followed by clowns, ghosts, and zombies. Now, speech anxiety is perfectly normal. So you can go ahead and ask your friends, your family, and you'll see how common it is. Now, everyone has experienced speech anxiety or stage fright at least once in their lifetime. Okay, now that we know what speech anxiety is, we should move on into ways we can discuss on how to manage. Now that we know what speech anxiety is, I wanted to discuss with you guys a story that happened to me when I was a freshman in high school. For my public speaking class, we needed to present ourselves on the first day, but we had to write out a 2-page paper, and we also needed to present it. And I was very nervous, and I'm not a person that likes to speak up or do anything that has to do with the crowd. I get nervous and I freak out, and I just don't like to do it. So I decided to take 50% and not do it. And now that I look back, I realized I should have done it because I ended up getting it. My first grade there was a 50. So it happens to everybody. Now that we know what speech anxiety is, let's talk about ways on how to manage speech anxiety. So the main thing I can give you advice for is choose a topic that best interests you. Because if you pick a topic that you have no interest in, you just won't do a good job because you won't find yourself intrigued by it. Now, practice the speech as much as you can. It's very hard to just go up in front of a crowd and not know what you're talking about. You're going to freeze and you're not going to know what to say, so you just need to know your audience. This will give you an idea on how to address the audience. Now, make jokes. If you're upstage, you feel very nervous, and you don't know what to do, make a joke. And I know this sounds silly, but by hearing everybody else laugh, maybe it'll make you laugh as well. Now, make sure you're well rested. You don't want to be falling asleep in the middle of your speech. I don't recommend it because you're not going to be focused, your ideas are going to be wrong, and you're going to get off topic many, many times. Also, think positive. Don't be negative. If you're constantly a negative person, bad things are expected to happen because you're not acting your best. So try to go in a positive way, saying my speech is going to go well today. I'm going to be very happy. Now, also let's talk about, now that you guys know a couple little tips on how to ease your anxiety, now let's get to the point of how to deliver a strong speech, which is hard for everybody. Don't distract your audience. Don't tap your feet. Don't do this. Don't constantly be tapping your hands like this, because then people are going to focus on what the person is doing with their hands, and they're not going to pay attention. I have a story for this. My husband is in the United States Air Force, and he needed to do a speech, and he used me as his example. While he was practicing, he kept doing this on and off all the time. And I paid attention probably the first 2 minutes, and then I realized he kept doing this, and my main focus was primarily on him tapping. So remain focused and avoid making sounds and things that are going to distract your audience. Okay, so also another thing is you need to avoid getting off topic. Say right now we're talking about speech anxiety, and I all of a sudden just start talking about Whataburger, and then people are going to be like, really, what are you talking about? They're going to lose focus about what I'm saying, and they're going to think about Whataburger. Okay, so also remember to keep your crowd entertained, whether it is by having a PowerPoint or pictures, anything you need to do it so you keep them focused. Now, make eye contact with your audience. My audience is right here, and if I decide to turn this way, I'm talking to the wall. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention who your audience is and what you're doing. Now, remember to dress to impress. If you look good, you're going to feel good. Also, smile and look happy. Looking angry and annoyed is just going to make people look away and ignore you. They're going to pull out their phones, and they're not going to pay attention. By following these simple steps, you will deliver a good speech. Now, in conclusion, we learned what anxiety is and that it's perfectly normal and that you're not alone. We discussed what speech anxiety is. We learned ways to manage anxiety and receive tips on how to deliver a great speech. The next time you have to deliver a speech, remember everyone has the same experiences, and also just remember you're not alone. A lot of people experience it. It is the number one fear that America has. Now, before I end my speech, I would like to challenge you guys to go out of your comfort zone and make small talk while at the bus stop, while standing in the grocery store, ask the cashier how their day is going. They're all small steps. These are all small steps that will help you to deliver a better speech and to ease your anxiety. And if you guys have any questions, this is a good time to ask them. No questions? Thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed my speech.